This is the ninth in a series of video-based lessons that will provide you with introduction to views and their use as building blocks for database application development. We will start with some motivation for why the views are well suited to act as intermediaries between the user and the database. We will discuss the two major types of views, those used for retrieval or read-only, and updatable views. We will conclude by demonstrating the use of views in forms and reports, the two main types of interfaces between users and database applications. This material is covered in Chapter 10 in the textbook. The three-schema database architecture discussed in our introductory videos, see slide 7, 01 Intro DBMS2, essentially divides a database system into external and internal parts, with conceptual schema representing the more abstract view of the database as a set of relationships between entities in an ERD. The rest of the internal parts are the actual implementation of the conceptual schema's ERD on a specific database software and hardware platforms. Both the conceptual and internal, logical and physical schemas represent the entire database or database system. On the other hand, the external schema is composed of a set of views that give different types of users relatively narrow windows into the database system. Changes to the internal schema are hidden from the outside world through the use of views. If a table name in a database is changed, the only thing that needs changing is the reference to that table in the view. The view definition is then changed, but the application that uses the view is not impacted by this change. This is the essence of separation between the application and the underlying data, aka data independence. If the application was accessing the base table directly, the table name change would have impacted the application itself, an undesirable, although sometimes unavoidable outcome. In addition to data independence, views support simplification of certain tasks. For an average user, it is easier to query a view rather than underlying base tables. The view already has a pre-selected number of columns, row restrictions, joins, and summaries, so the user does not have to worry about these details and can concentrate on getting the results they need to do their jobs. Views also provide additional security beyond the standard user roles. Restricting access to views not only protects the underlying base tables better, but allows for easier restrictions on column and row subsets, viewing only summarized data, etc. If a view is defined as read-only, only the columns and rows that the user is allowed to see are provided. There is no way the user will inadvertently compromise the underlying base tables or be able to see the data he or she is not supposed to be privy to. The drawback, of course, is that views come at a higher computational cost. For a set of complex views, it is far more efficient to query base tables directly, rather than go through the additional layers provided by views. The simplest way to think about a view is as a virtual or derived table. Once we get to using MS Access later on in this lesson, the view is simply a stored query. Either way, the view or stored query does not exist until it is derived from base tables. Relational database management systems like MySQL or Oracle use create view statement, shown right here, to define a view by giving it a name and providing a select statement that does what the view is supposed to do. So at this point, we're going to switch to the hands-on portion of the video by switching to Toad and making sure you have the sports database with its customer, employee order, detail orders, and products tables opened. Then we're going to use Notepad to open up the first of the scripts called MySQL 25 1 TBL Retail Visa Cust View. Okay, it's a blank script. I'm going to make the window really small so I can sort of display it hopefully on top of the slide, and then create view retail Visa Cust as, and then provide a select statement that gets all the columns from customer table where credit card is Visa and company is null, which represents retail customers. We're going to save these changes, copy the view, switch to Toad, paste, and run it. Okay, then switch to Views tab, refresh if necessary, and it shouldn't be necessary all too often, and then view details of the view, specifically the data, which in this case it's easily verifiable because it's a single table view. You can see all the visas here and all the nulls for the company and the 88 records as a result. Close that and clear the code. Okay, the next view is going to be a view of a multiple table. And in addition to that, we're going to have renamed columns, because we often need to do that. So we're going to open up or close rather first the previous view file and open up number 26 and see if you can line it up on top of the slide, right? So this view is going to consist of customer orders taken by recently hired employees. Okay, so we're going to create view recent EMP cost ORD with the following modified or customized column names: cost last, cost first, okay, ORD date, EMP last, and EMP first. Okay, as, and then create a select statement, customer dot last name, customer dot first name, and those are going to correspond to the first two columns called cost last, cost first. Then order date from the orders table corresponding to ORD date column, and then employee dot last name comma employee dot first name corresponding to the last two columns of the view. From the three tables involved, the customer, orders, and employee, where we first have to link them. Customer ID is a primary key linked to the orders customer ID is a foreign key, and orders employee ID foreign key is linked up to the employee ID primary key. And then we're going to make the restriction on the hire date, employee hire date greater than some date 2020-1-1, so January 1st 2020. Save. We're going to select the entire view, right, from create view to the bottom, copy it, switch to Toad, paste, and run it. Okay, clear it, and then looking at this view is not going to provide as much insights, because other than looking at a particular a total number of rows, which happens to be 600, so that could be a sort of a check for you. Okay, switch back to the presentation. The third and last view in this video is going to be a multi-table summary view, sometimes called a grouping view in the literature. So this view is going to summarize product quantities and sales ordered, and it's shown here on this slide. So what we're going to do, we're going to switch back to Notepad, close number 26, and open number 27, and create the grouping view called product underscore summary, okay, with prod name as a first customized column, product name. Prod name is the actual column. Product group, num orders for total number of orders, and TOT sales for total sales as, and then we create a summary view. Select prod name, prod group, the two grouping columns, sum of quantity, which is going to correspond to num orders, sum quantity times retail price for the product table, which is going to correspond to total sales. Okay, the information is coming from orders, order detail, and product, where orders dot order ID, the primary key matches order detail dot order ID foreign key, and order detail dot product ID foreign key matches product and product ID primary key. Okay, and also the product type is this is going to be done only for inventory item. That's not critical, but it's good for this example. And finally, group by prod name. Okay, we're going to save this view, copy it, switch to Toad, and paste it. Hopefully it runs. Yep. And we're going to see some of the data. For example, baseball gloves, 187 orders for a total of about 6,500. We're not going to worry about formatting the total sales column at this point. We'll do that later on in the queries. I'm going to clear this and switch back to the presentation. Okay, the last, this and the following slide, this one and this one, are going to demonstrate the use of these three read-only views we defined on these three slides here. Okay, so we're going to start with a query defined on top of a single table view. That's probably the simplest case. That's going to simply list the city and phone of male California customers using this retail visa view. All of these guys are going to be done in a single SQL file called MySQL4_28 is a number using views for retrieval. Okay, and I have a little bit of a code in it to minimize the typing. So again, select the first last city phone from. Now the name of the view, retail underscore visa underscore cust, where gender is male and state is CA for California. Okay, so we're going to save, copy, switch to Toad, paste. Make sure that the name of the view matches the name of the view here. Run it and observe the two customers, James and Robert from Sacramento, are two such as a result of this query that runs on that single table view. I'll clear that, switch back to the presentation. The next query is going to be created on a multiple table view, the recent EMP cust order one specifically, to fetch all the orders taken by Doyle in the month of August, and then displaying some customer and order information. So I'm going to switch back to Notepad, scroll down to the second query from recent underscore EMP underscore cust underscore ORD view, where EMP last. Notice all these are the customers' names from this particular view is Doyle, and month of ORD date is August. Okay, I'm going to save that, copy this quick query, paste it, make sure that the name of the view matches, run it to get these three records with Kim Derrick, probably two orders, two different dates, and one has two order details, but we don't care about that at this particular point. I'm going to clear this, switch back to the last slide of this video that will demonstrate using those, the product summary grouping view, first by simply retrieving the individual rows from that view for biking related product groups, and secondly by using a grouping query or summarize query on the grouping view to further summarize the product info. Okay, so let's start with flipping back to the SQL file and think, let's see, I have to squish this a little bit more. Okay, select the product name, num orders, and then I'm going to try to round, if possible, these total sales to the nearest digit as TT. I don't think then the same name is going to matter, although we might need to change it from product summary view, okay, where product group is bikes, or product group is biking gear. Order by TT sales descending. Okay, so make that a little bigger. Make sure you can see the whole thing. Okay, so we're selecting 3 columns: product name, num orders, and the total sales, hopefully rounded up appropriately, from this grouping view, product summary, but only for bikes and biking gear product groups. Switch back to Toad. Get rid of the old one. Let's see. Oh, I didn't copy it. Copy it. Okay, switch back to Toad and paste it. Okay, so we'll see these biking products, right, with number of orders sorted descending order by total sales from 73,000 down to $100. So I'm going to clear this, switch back to the presentation, and discuss the last query based on this grouping view product summary for this video. Okay, and we're going to enter that guy at the bottom of the SQL file, number 28. So we're going to find the average sales by product group using the product summary view. I'm going to simply select the product group, okay, and then we're going to again round the average sales, round AVG TOT sales. Okay, let's see how this works out as AVG group sales from product summary view, and we're going to group by product group to further summarize the data, and order by AVG group sales descending again. Okay, we'll see if we have any problems with the rounding here. Oops, wait, I have 2 select statements. Because I typed the whole thing again. Okay, so there's only 1 select statement, obviously. Let's see if it works. Yes, get outdoor gear at the top, 47,000, and volleyball with 2,700 at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to clear this, switch back to the presentation, and pause.